So in this video we're going to start adding some of the variables and the images that we'll need for this gauge. Now we call it an analog gauge. It's not quite an analog gauge, but it's analog-like. And it's kind of like accelerometers that, if you're familiar with some of that engineering stuff, what they might look like. So let's get to it. We're going to add some variables. So we're going to come up to the top of our Game 1 class here. However, now we're going to come down to the bottom of our variables, which we're getting to have quite a few of. And now we're going to start adding these. So first one we need is for the actual position, the mouse relative position, and it's a vector 2, so it'll have an X and Y. We've captured that information, but we've really just captured it into a string before, so we need to actually have it as a number value so we can figure out which of these images we want to use when. So now for the graphic, we're going to have some labels here. This is going to be, it's going to look like a plus sign, and we're going to have a label at each side. We're going to set these up with just one label on each side, but we're putting numbers on them, the 01, just in case in the future we want to have, maybe a second one that these are already set up to have 01, so then the next one would be 02, or maybe 00 if we want to go that way. Kind of computer numbering kind of scenarios work that way sometime. But there's the X's, and now here are the Y's, one positive, one negative, both labeled 01s. And there's the last one. Okay. So that's it. Like I said, we could add more later if we wanted. And let's save it. And now let's add on some more variables for the actual images, which are texture 2Ds. They're 2D graphics that are part of your game assets or your course assets. So dots x underscore negative, neg underscore max. So that's the maximum deflection to the x negative. Now here's the rest of them. So we've got maximums in both directions, and 1 through 10, and a 0 to sort of center out each one. So this is all in your book, of course, so you don't have to be taking notes furiously as we're doing this. So now we need two more variables here. We need a dots x and a dots y, and that's what we're going to actually use when we print things to the screen. We're going to figure out which one of the others we need and then push them there. And then we need a vector 2 for the dots x position for that graphic, and one for the dots y position for that graphic. Okay, that looks good. Save again. And now we can bring in the images. So come over to the content directory, right click, add, new folder, and we'll call this images, and enter, and then right click on the images directory and add existing item, and go out to wherever you put your course assets, and there's my directory, and for now they're in the folder called dots. When you get yours, they might be somewhere different, but this is what they look like. You've got the horizontal ones for the X and the vertical ones for the Y. And they're named pretty much the same as we named the variables. So we can select these one at a time, or we can click the first one, hold down the Shift, click the last one. They're all selected. Click Add, and then in a second or two, there they are. Okay, so they all come in. They're in the image directory, images directory. So that's it. Now we're ready to bring them into the game. We'll save once more, and we'll see you in the next video where we move on with more of this.